What if I told you there was a time when diesel engines were built so tough they could outlive their owners' kids, and possibly their grandchildren? Before emissions regulations, electronic controls, and complexity killed the golden age of diesel reliability, there were engines that ran for millions of miles with nothing more than oil changes and basic maintenance. Today, I'm counting down 10 diesel engines that were engineered for eternity, until government regulations forced manufacturers to prioritize clean air over bulletproof reliability. Before we dive into these mechanical immortals, you need to understand what we lost when emissions regulations transformed the diesel industry. Prior to 1988, diesel engines were purely mechanical marvels. No computers, no sensors, no DEF fluid, no particulate filters. These engines operated on simple principles: inject fuel, compress air, create explosion, repeat for the next 500,000 miles. The Environmental Protection Agency's first serious diesel emission standards in 1988 marked the beginning of the end for these legendary power plants. Suddenly, manufacturers had to engineer engines that burned cleaner, not necessarily engines that lasted longer. The result was a fundamental shift from mechanical simplicity to electronic complexity, from user-serviceable reliability to dealer-dependent maintenance nightmares. What made these pre-EPA engines so durable wasn't just better materials or superior engineering, though both played a role. It was their design philosophy. Engineers built these engines assuming they would be rebuilt multiple times over their service life. Components were designed for easy replacement, not planned obsolescence. Tolerances were loose enough to accommodate wear without catastrophic failure. Most importantly, everything was mechanical and repairable by any competent mechanic with basic tools. The engines on this list represent the pinnacle of that philosophy. Each one earned its reputation through decades of abuse in the harshest applications imaginable: long-haul trucking, construction sites, marine service, and agricultural work. These weren't engines that lasted forever by accident. They were deliberately overbuilt for immortality. In our number 10 spot, the Detroit Diesel 6V92 represents everything that made two-stroke diesels legendary before emissions regulations killed them off. This six-cylinder screamer combined the raw power of Detroit's two-stroke design with a size that made it practical for medium-duty applications, creating an engine that was nearly indestructible when properly maintained. The 6V92's two-stroke design meant it fired on every stroke rather than every other stroke like conventional four-stroke engines. Depending on the configuration, the 6V92 produced up to 350 or even 400-plus horsepower from 552 cubic inches, resulting in a power density that far surpassed many four-stroke competitors of its era. More importantly, the two-stroke design created a distinctive exhaust note that became the soundtrack of American industry. What made the mechanical 6V92 so durable was its fundamental simplicity. The engine used unit injectors, one per cylinder, that combined the injection pump and nozzle in a single serviceable unit. Each injector could be individually timed and adjusted, and replacement was a straightforward procedure that required no special tools or electronic programming. The mechanical governor system controlled engine speed through purely mechanical linkages, with no electronic components to fail. The 6V92's wet sleeve design allowed for easy rebuilds and contributed to its longevity. The cylinder sleeves could be replaced without removing the engine from the vehicle, making major overhauls economical even for smaller operators. The engine block was so robust that many 6V92 blocks were rebuilt dozens of times over their service lives. Detroit Diesel's supercharger system was integral to the two-stroke design, but it was mechanically driven and required minimal maintenance. The Roots-type blower forced fresh air through intake ports in the cylinder walls, scavenging exhaust gases and providing the air charge for combustion. This system was so reliable that supercharger failures were rare, and when they did occur, replacement was straightforward. The 6V92 found applications in everything from delivery trucks to buses and marine vessels. In each application, it demonstrated the same characteristics: high power output, distinctive sound, and remarkable durability when maintained according to Detroit Diesel's specifications. Many 6V92 engines accumulated over 500,000 miles in commercial service, with some marine applications logging tens of thousands of operating hours. Mack's mechanical E6 and E7 engines represented the pinnacle of inline-six diesel development, combining exceptional torque production with the fuel efficiency and reliability that made Mack trucks legendary in heavy-haul applications. These engines proved that proper engineering could create power plants that excelled in the most demanding trucking applications. The E6, displacing 672 cubic inches, and the larger E7 at 728 cubic inches, shared Mack's commitment to robust construction and mechanical simplicity. Both engines featured deep skirt blocks with 7 main bearings supporting forged steel crankshafts, designed for continuous high-torque operation. The long stroke design, 6.5 inches for both engines, created exceptional torque production at low RPM. Mack's approach to fuel injection emphasized reliability over complexity. The inline injection pump was precisely calibrated to deliver fuel at optimal timing for each operating condition. The mechanical system required no electronic controls and could be serviced by any competent diesel mechanic. Fuel injection timing, once properly set, remained stable for hundreds of thousands of miles. What made the E6 and E7 special was their torque characteristics. The E6 produced 1,200 pound-foot of torque, while the E7 generated up to 1,460 pound-foot. This torque was available at low RPM. Making these engines ideal for heavy-haul applications where pulling power mattered more than peak horsepower. The engines could lug down to 1,000 RPM and still pull heavy loads up steep grades. The cooling system design reflected Mack's understanding of severe duty applications. Both engines featured oversized cooling systems with high-capacity water pumps and large radiators that could handle extreme operating conditions. The engines would run reliably in applications where other power plants would overheat. Fleet operators discovered that E6 and E7 engines could accumulate 750,000 to 1 million miles before requiring major overhauls. The engine's reputation for reliability was so strong that many operators specifically sought out Mack trucks powered by these mechanical engines, even after more advanced power plants became available. The Detroit Diesel 8V71 represents the ultimate expression of two-stroke diesel technology before emissions regulations ended the era of screamin' jimmies. This 8-cylinder powerhouse combined the raw power of Detroit's two-stroke design with the reliability that made Detroit diesel engines legendary in heavy-duty applications worldwide. The 8V71's design philosophy reflected Detroit Diesel's commitment to mechanical simplicity and serviceability. The engine featured unit injectors, 1 per cylinder, that combined the injection pump and nozzle in a single serviceable unit. Each injector could be individually timed and adjusted, and replacement required no special tools or electronic programming. This modular approach meant that fuel system maintenance could be performed by any competent mechanic. What made the 8V71 legendary was its power output combined with durability. The engine produced 318 horsepower from 568 cubic inches, 0.56 horsepower per cubic inch, through the efficiency of two-stroke operation. Every stroke was a power stroke, giving the 8V71 twice the power pulses of equivalent 4-stroke engines. This design created the distinctive exhaust note that became synonymous with American trucking. The supercharger system was integral to two-stroke operation, but mechanically simple and reliable. The Roots-type blower was gear-driven from the engine's timing gears, forcing fresh air through intake ports in the cylinder walls. This scavenging process removed exhaust gases and provided the air charge for combustion. The supercharger required minimal maintenance and rarely failed in service. The 8V71's dry sleeve design contributed to its robust construction and longevity. Unlike wet sleeve engines where coolant directly contacted the cylinder liners, the 8V71's dry sleeves were pressed into the block with coolant passages surrounding them in the block casting. This design eliminated the cavitation problems that plagued wet sleeve engines, while still allowing for cylinder rebuilds when necessary. The dry sleeve arrangement provided superior structural integrity and heat transfer characteristics. Fleet operators discovered that 8V71 engines could handle continuous high-load operation that would destroy lesser engines. The two-stroke design was inherently suited to constant speed applications like generators and marine propulsion, where the engine might run at full load for thousands of hours without shutdown. In trucking applications, the 8V71 could maintain highway speeds with heavy loads while delivering the reliability that kept trucks moving. The 8V71 found applications in everything from over-the-road trucks to city buses to marine vessels. In each application, it demonstrated the same characteristics: high power output, distinctive sound, and remarkable durability when maintained according to Detroit Diesel's specifications. Many engines accumulated over 500,000 miles in commercial service, with some marine and stationary applications logging tens of thousands of operating hours without major repairs. The Detroit Diesel 53 Series engines represent the ultimate expression of mechanical simplicity and durability in small displacement diesels. These screaming two-stroke power plants, available in 3, 4, and 6-cylinder configurations, became legendary for their ability to run indefinitely under conditions that would destroy conventional engines. The 53 Series design philosophy emphasized mechanical simplicity above all else. Each cylinder displaced exactly 53 cubic inches, and the modular design meant that 3, 4, and 6-cylinder versions shared identical components. This commonality simplified manufacturing, reduced parts inventory, and made field service straightforward for operators managing mixed fleets. What made the 53 Series engines indestructible was their two-stroke design combined with conservative power ratings. The engines were deliberately underrated for their displacement, creating massive durability margins that translated into exceptional longevity. A 653 produced just 165 horsepower from 318 cubic inches, only 0.52 horsepower per cubic inch, meaning internal components operated well below their stress limits. The unit injector fuel system was the epitome of mechanical reliability. Each cylinder had its own self-contained injector that combined the injection pump and nozzle in a single unit. These injectors could be individually timed and adjusted, and replacement required no special tools or electronic programming. The mechanical governor system controlled engine speed through purely mechanical linkages with no electronic components to fail. Military applications proved the 53 Series engine's legendary durability. The engines powered everything from generators to construction equipment to marine vessels in conditions ranging from Arctic cold to desert heat. Many military 53 Series engines accumulated tens of thousands of operating hours without major repairs, often running continuously for months at a time. The supercharger system was mechanically driven and virtually maintenance-free. The Roots-type blower forced fresh air through intake ports in the cylinder walls, scavenging exhaust gases and providing the air charge for combustion. The system was so reliable that supercharger failures were rare, and when they did occur, replacement was straightforward. Industrial applications demonstrated the engine's tolerance for neglect and abuse. Construction companies, marine operators, and power generation facilities relied on 53 Series engines because they would continue running even when maintenance was delayed or operating conditions were severe. The engine's mechanical simplicity meant that basic maintenance could keep them running indefinitely. The John Deere 466 engine represents agricultural diesel engineering at its finest. A power plant designed to operate for tens of thousands of hours in the harshest conditions imaginable. This 466 cubic inch inline six became the backbone of John Deere's tractor lineup and proved that proper engineering could create engines that lasted decades with routine maintenance. John Deere's approach to the 466 reflected their understanding of agricultural applications, where reliability was literally a matter of economic survival. The engine featured a deep skirt block with 7 main bearings, supporting a forged steel crankshaft designed for continuous operation under varying loads. The robust construction could handle the constant power demands of fieldwork, from plowing to harvesting to heavy transport. The 466's mechanical fuel injection system was designed for simplicity and reliability. The rotary injection pump was gear-driven from the engine's timing gears, with no electronic controls to fail in dusty, dirty agricultural environments. The fuel system delivered consistent performance regardless of operating conditions, and any farm mechanic could service it with basic tools. What made the 466 legendary was its operating life expectancy. Agricultural engines are measured in operating hours rather than miles, and the 466 routinely accumulated 15,000 to 20,000 hours before requiring major overhauls. In agricultural terms, this represented 20 to 30 years of normal farm use, essentially the working lifetime of the farmer who bought the tractor. The engine's design emphasized serviceability in remote locations. Farmers needed engines they could maintain and repair themselves, often in field conditions with limited tools and facilities. The 466's mechanical simplicity and robust construction made field repairs possible, keeping critical agricultural operations running during time-sensitive periods like planting and harvest. John Deere's commitment to parts availability meant that 466 engines could be maintained indefinitely. The company's extensive dealer network and commitment to long-term parts support ensured that even decades-old engines could be kept running with genuine components. The Navistar DT360 and its turbocharged variant, the DTA360, earned recognition as the little brother to the famous DT466, offering similar rugged construction and mechanical simplicity in a smaller displacement package. This 360 cubic inch inline six proved that International Harvester's engineering philosophy could create durable engines across the entire displacement range. Its design reflected International's agricultural equipment heritage, emphasizing durability and serviceability over complexity. The engine featured a deep skirt block with 7 main bearings, supporting a forged steel crankshaft. This robust bottom end could handle the constant load cycling that characterized vocational applications, from delivery trucks to school buses to medium-duty construction equipment. What set the DT360 apart was its mechanical fuel injection system. The rotary injection pump was gear-driven from the engine's timing gears, eliminating the belt-driven systems that created maintenance issues on some competitors. The fuel system required no electronic controls or sensors, just mechanical precision that delivered consistent performance for hundreds of thousands of miles without adjustment. Its wet sleeve design made it exceptionally serviceable. Like its bigger DT466 sibling, the removable cylinder sleeves could be replaced during routine overhauls without removing the engine from the vehicle. This design feature made major repairs economical for smaller operators who couldn't afford complete engine replacements. Fleet operators found that DT360 engines routinely accumulated 350 to 500,000 miles before requiring major overhauls. The engine's tolerance for less than perfect maintenance made it ideal for applications where elaborate service programs weren't feasible. School districts, delivery companies, and small construction firms relied on its ability to keep running, despite occasional neglect. The turbocharged DTA360 variant offered increased power output while maintaining the same fundamental reliability. The turbocharger was a simple, robust design that provided boost pressure without the complexity of modern variable geometry systems. Many of these engines accumulated hundreds of thousands of miles without requiring turbocharger service. The Caterpillar 3406B represents the pinnacle of mechanical diesel engine development, the final evolution of purely mechanical design before electronic controls took over. This 893 cubic inch inline six combined decades of Caterpillar engineering experience with the robust construction that made Cat engines legendary in construction and mining applications. Caterpillar's approach to this engine reflected their heavy equipment heritage. It featured a deep skirt block with 7 main bearings and a forged steel crankshaft that could handle continuous high-load operation. The cylinder head was secured with massive head bolts that created a combustion chamber seal capable of withstanding extreme pressures without failure. The 3406B's fuel system represented the ultimate development of mechanical injection technology. The inline injection pump was precisely timed to deliver fuel at exactly the right moment for optimal combustion. Unlike electronic systems that relied on sensors and computers, the mechanical system was inherently reliable and could be serviced by any competent diesel mechanic with basic tools. What made it special was its power output combined with durability. The engine produced 425 horsepower from 893 cubic inches, 0.48 horsepower per cubic inch, while maintaining the robust construction that Caterpillar engines were famous for. This power density was achieved through superior combustion chamber design and precise fuel injection timing, not by compromising durability. The cooling system design reflected Caterpillar's experience with engines operating in extreme conditions. The 3406B featured an oversized cooling system with a high-capacity water pump and thermostat arrangement that maintained optimal operating temperatures even under severe loads. The system was designed to handle the thermal stress of continuous high-power operation without failure. Fleet operators quickly discovered that 3406B engines could accumulate 750,000 to 1 million miles before requiring major overhauls. More importantly, the overhauls were straightforward procedures that could be performed in any well-equipped shop. The engine's modular design meant that worn components could be replaced individually, making rebuilds economical even for high-mileage engines. Its reputation for reliability was so strong that many operators continued purchasing 3406B-powered trucks even after more advanced engines became available. The engine's mechanical simplicity and proven durability outweighed the advantages of newer technology for operators who prioritized reliability over fuel economy or emissions compliance. The Cummins NTC 855 deserves recognition as the engine that established Cummins as a serious player in heavy-duty trucking. Introduced in 1967, this 855 cubic inch inline six became the foundation for what would eventually evolve into the legendary Big Cam series. But the original NTC was something special in its own right. What made the NTC 855 remarkable was its conservative design approach. Cummins engineers deliberately underrated this engine's capabilities, creating massive durability margins that translated into exceptional longevity. The standard NTC 855 produced 250 horsepower from 855 cubic inches, just 0.29 horsepower per cubic inch. This conservative power density meant internal components operated well below their stress limits, contributing to the engine's legendary reliability. It used replaceable wet liners, which made engine rebuilds easier and more cost-effective compared to cast and cylinder designs. Unlike some modern engines that use these dry cylinders requiring more extensive machining or replacement when worn, the NTC's liners could be replaced during routine overhauls, greatly extending the engine's service life. The engine block itself was so robust that many NTC blocks accumulated over 2 million miles through multiple rebuilds without requiring replacement. Mechanically, it was elegantly simple. The PT fuel system used engine-driven pumps to maintain constant fuel pressure, with individual injectors controlling fuel delivery to each cylinder. No electronic controls, no sensors, no computers, just mechanical precision that any diesel mechanic could understand and repair. The fuel system was renowned for its reliability, allowing NTC engines to run exceptionally long intervals, often hundreds of thousands of miles, before injector service was required. The cooling system design reflected Cummins' understanding of real-world operating conditions. It featured an oversized cooling system with a robust water pump and thermostat arrangement that could handle extreme operating temperatures without failure. Unlike later engines that required precise coolant mixtures and regular testing, the NTC would run reliably on straight water if necessary. Fleet operators discovered that NTC 855 engines could accumulate over 750,000 miles before requiring major overhauls. And the overhauls were straightforward in-frame rebuilds that could be handled by most shops. The engine's reputation for reliability was so strong that many operators specifically sought out NTC-powered trucks well into the 1980s, long after more powerful engines became available. The Cummins 5.9-liter 12-valve engine, officially designated 6BT, proved that agricultural and industrial engine design could revolutionize the pickup truck market. When Dodge introduced this engine in their Ram pickup in 1989, it brought heavy-duty diesel reliability to the consumer market for the first time, creating a legend that continues to influence truck buyers today. The 6BT's design reflected Cummins' experience building engines for agricultural and industrial applications, where reliability was paramount. The 359 cubic inch inline six featured a deep skirt block with 7 main bearings supporting a forged steel crankshaft. This robust construction was designed for continuous operation under load, exactly what farm equipment and industrial applications demanded. What made the 12-valve special was its purely mechanical design. The rotary injection pump was gear-driven from the engine's timing gears, with no electronic controls or sensors to fail. The fuel system delivered consistent performance regardless of operating conditions, and any diesel mechanic could service it with basic tools. This mechanical simplicity became increasingly valuable as other manufacturers moved toward complex electronic systems. The turbocharger system was equally straightforward. The Holset HX35 turbocharger was a simple, robust design that provided boost pressure without the complexity of variable geometry or electronic controls. The turbocharger was sized conservatively, ensuring long service life even under continuous boost conditions. Many 12-valve engines accumulated hundreds of thousands of miles without requiring turbocharger service. The 6BT's reputation for durability came from its conservative design approach. The engine produced 160 horsepower from 359 cubic inches, just 0.45 horsepower per cubic inch. This conservative power density meant internal components operated well below their stress limits, contributing to exceptional longevity. The engine was designed to handle much higher power levels, as evidenced by the ease with which aftermarket modifications could double or triple power output. Pickup truck owners discovered that 12-valve engines could accumulate 300 to 500,000 miles with routine maintenance. Unlike gasoline engines that required major repairs at high mileage, the 12-valve would continue running reliably with nothing more than oil changes and basic maintenance. This durability created a devoted following among truck owners who needed reliable transportation for work or recreation. The 12-valve's mechanical simplicity made it ideal for remote applications where dealer service wasn't available. Farmers, ranchers, and construction workers could maintain and repair these engines themselves, reducing operating costs and eliminating dependence on dealer service networks. And in the number one spot, the International Harvester DT360. This engine earned its reputation as one of the most durable medium-duty diesel engines ever built through decades of service in vocational applications where reliability meant everything. This 466 cubic inch inline six became the backbone of International's truck lineup and proved that proper engineering could create engines that lasted indefinitely with routine maintenance. International's approach to this engine reflected their agricultural equipment heritage. Build it strong enough to handle anything, then make it stronger. It featured a wet sleeve block design with 7 main bearings and a forged steel crankshaft. This robust bottom end could handle the constant load cycling that destroyed lesser engines in garbage trucks, delivery vehicles, and construction equipment. The DT360's wet sleeve design became legendary among fleet mechanics for its serviceability. Its removable sleeves could be replaced during routine overhauls. The procedure was so straightforward that many operators performed in-frame rebuilds in their own shops, dramatically reducing maintenance costs compared to engines requiring dealer service. Mechanically, the DT360 was refreshingly simple. The rotary fuel injection pump was gear-driven from the engine's timing gears, eliminating the belt-driven systems that plagued some competitors. Like most of the other engines we discussed, the fuel system required no electronic controls or sensors, just mechanical precision that delivered consistent performance for hundreds of thousands of miles. Fuel injection timing was set mechanically and rarely required adjustment once properly calibrated. The cooling system design reflected International's understanding of severe duty applications. The DT360 featured an oversized cooling system with a robust water pump and large capacity radiator that could handle extreme operating conditions. The engine would run reliably in applications where other engines would overheat, making it ideal for stop-and-go delivery service and construction equipment. What set it apart was its tolerance for neglect. While proper maintenance extended engine life significantly, the DT360 could survive occasional oil change delays and cooling system neglect that would destroy more sensitive engines. This forgiveness made it ideal for smaller operators who couldn't afford elaborate maintenance programs but needed reliable transportation. Fleet operators discovered that DT360 engines routinely accumulated 400 to 600,000 miles before requiring major overhauls. Even more impressive, the overhauls were economical enough that many operators rebuilt their engines multiple times rather than replacing them with newer technology.